Hi, I'm Maggie Kiley, a graduate of AFI's Directing Workshop for Women, and I'm a director and producer on Dirty John, the Betty Broderick Story. This is one of my favorite scenes from the pilot episode. Very famously, Betty drove her car into the front of Dan's house, the house he was living in with his new wife. What was so wonderful about getting to work with actors like Amanda Peet and Christian Slater, they just threw themselves into these roles with 100% passion and dedication from the beginning. We actually took the camera off of the body and worked to sort of move down to the ground with Betty and Dan. And this section right here is really significant because this usage of a portrait lens was a way for us to really shift into Betty's perspective, sometimes being a little heightened or left of center than what you'd anticipate. Ellie Smolkin was the DP on this. It was my first time collaborating with him, and a big plan for us from the beginning was to make this season look completely different from last season. Obviously, we had period elements to play with. We moved back and forth in time, but we really wanted to feel as Betty sort of descends into a less stable place, we wanted lensing and framing to help tell that story too. So we actually shot on the Sony Venice, but we worked with Panavision and they custom tuned lenses for us. So we had more sort of flare, and this particular lens was what we refer to as the portrait lens. And it just had a lot of feathering at the edges, and it worked best in more of a center punch. But you know, if you overuse those specials, it can be a little disorienting for the audience. But you know, we tried to be really thoughtful in when we kind of put that on. This is a significant moment in the middle of the season where Dan tells Betty that he's leaving her. We played a lot with his reflection across the room, which I loved, seeing sort of the way he presents to Betty and the way he is in the reflection. Christian has talked a lot about the character of Dan and what it means to start harboring secrets and not revealing the whole truth. And in this moment, he's pretty vague. You know, he sort of just says he needs to leave. I mean, it's one of those moments that I think we all dread in any relationship, when that partner says, I want some space. It was really fun and heartbreaking to work on a story about a relationship that really cannot maintain the long distance that you want it to. Watching Amanda go from kind, vulnerable, friendly, sexy to this moment of complete and utter sorrow. And then she gets a little edgy and a little defensive. It's just incredible to watch sort of the roller coaster of emotions that she plays. Alex Cunningham, the creator of the show, was really interested. This story had been told before, but it was very much sort of the bold headlines, this double homicide, this woman went crazy. She really wanted to focus on the why of the story, of, you know, why Betty sort of moved into this really dark place at the end of when her marriage dissolved. So because of that, we thought a lot about how to maintain Betty's perspective and how to sort of be with Betty through all of it as much as possible. Using Dutch helps us understand that her world is careening off the edge. She's losing a sense of what's right and wrong. I did learn the POV lesson at AFI. I got in trouble for it in my boot camp for not knowing whose point of view I was in. So I've worked really hard in you know, as sort of coming up as a director, to be really clear in those choices.